Hey, Wardell. I'm happy that we were finally able to meet today and get this interview going and, learn so much about you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We have a new name, you guys, and thank you again for voting and helping me to pick the name. So we are now Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. Again, we like to talk to different entertainment and industry people that are able to give us insight regarding their different projects and maybe also some insight on how to break into the industry. So we're going to jump right in. Again, I appreciate your patience and working everything out, being able to talk to me today. How are you today?
I am great. I am glad that we was able to work it out. Schedule's just been crazy.
Right, exactly. Well, you know how that go. Everybody is trying to stay busy, which is a good thing, right? We want to keep
Yes.
the blessings coming. We want to keep working. So let's jump right into that. Tell us about yourself, what it is that you do, and how you got into that industry.
Well, I'm Wardell Richardson, actor, producer, director, the CEO of Raine Dance Films, and host of WCEGWOOD, the Hollywood of the South. And basically, I got into it because I'm a fan of movies. And since I was a kid, I could sit all day and just watch movies over and over and over again. And when I do, I just imagine myself in certain kind of roles. So when I got to a point in my life where, because I used to do runway and stuff like that, I'm 6'5", so I used to do runway and stuff like that. I was a lot slimmer. And then I started working out, bulked out a little bit. So I wanted to try film, but first I got into theater.
Okay.
So I did the whole theater circuit for a while, for
Okay, tell
several
us a little bit
years.
about that, like theater, like because it's such a for me, I act, I model, I host, anything that I
Hmm.
could do to stay busy within entertainment. And for me, I feel like it's such a transition from
It
stage
is.
to the screen. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what are some projects that you've worked on, and what was your experience during theater?
Well, first, I advise anyone who gets into wanting to be an actor to start off in theater,
Okay.
because theater is that thing where when they say action, it's all go. There's no cut. There's no start over. There's no okay. Let's rewind this or anything like that.
Yeah.
Once you hit that stage, it is all go, and that's where you have to learn to improvise. That's where you have to learn to know how to read your actor and whoever that you got to know their lines, what they're going to say, and kind of finagle them into saying, catching up to their lines and working with your opposite. So I would advise anybody who
Mhm.
gets into acting to start off in theater, because once you do that and go to regular TV or film,
Mhm.
it's a piece of cake. From
Okay.
that point on, it's a piece of cake, because it's the only thing you have to remember in theater is that you're bigger than life in theater, and you have to tone it down in
Right.
TV and film.
Exactly. I would definitely agree with that. It's kind of like the people, like folks say around the way in theater, you kind of get it how you live. Like you said, there's no cuts in between, there's no
Right.
breaks, it's just straight action. Whatever happens, happens. And you have to make it come off as though you didn't, there were no hinges, there were no mistakes.
Exactly.
When you've made a mistake, but the audience shouldn't
Audience
know,
don't.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me
Yeah.
projects that you've done as far as theater. Like what interests you
Oh,
in theater, and what are some of those projects?
the first one I did was Will a Real Man Please Stand. That was the first project I ever did. And the Monique Shaw, who is the owner of that theatrical stage play, it's interesting. That was my very first project. I played the bad guy, the player, but a month before we started doing the play, the lead guy, who's the good guy,
Mhm.
disappeared. Like nobody knew where he went.
Oh wow.
And
So does that
so
mean did you get to then take over that role?
I got bumped up to that role,
Okay.
and they found somebody else to come in to get my role,
Okay.
and that was when I was terrified. I mean, I was sweating bullets at the beginning. But
So
once
can
I
I ask you,
got
what was it about that experience that made you terrified? Is it because you felt like it was more pressure with this particular role, or?
well, number one, in theater, you got an audience that's all sitting there staring directly at you, you know? And it's such a feeling. Like after a while I started getting into a routine with it, and I loved it. But in the beginning I was just so afraid because all these people are just staring at you. I had my mom out there, you have family members,
Mm,
you have friends, and then all these people don't know, never met. So you don't know how the audience is gonna take you,
mm.
if they're gonna like you, if they're not gonna like you, if you did a good job, if you didn't do a good job,
Well,
you
and that's what
know.
I was saying. Like, that's something I love about theater. Like they say, leave it on the stage. Whatever it is, you just
Right.
have to leave it, lay it all out there on the stage. And I just love the whole dramatics of it all. If you can't,
Right.
if you can't tell. But yes, I love theater. So that's interesting that you felt as though you really had to bring it, right? Because
I did.
you don't want to let the audience down, especially those audience members being people that love you and are looking to come and support you. And then you don't want to let yourself down. So I definitely
Exactly.
understand that. So that's what's up. Now, you kind of went over some of these things that you do as far as industry. So theater, acting, modeling. I mean, all these things. How did you get into modeling? Is it just because of the height that you were interested, or what made you drawn to modeling?
When I was, and this is years ago that I did modeling, but when I got into it,
Uh-huh.
I used to work. I used to always work out,
Okay.
and when I was in my 20s, um, I was slimmer and just cut, you know. So and then I was tall. I was, so a lot of people would see me and be like, hey, I got asked a lot, was I a model? I guess I
Okay.
looked like one at the
Well, like you
time.
walking
So
through the mall, you know how those people, when you used to walk through the mall, you go through the mall and they're like, "Hey, do you want to be a model? Oh, I think you should be a model." That type of
right,
thing. Okay.
right. And so I got, because and it's funny you said that because I actually got approached a couple times in the mall, a few times. So but so I said, well, let me see what this is all about.
Okay.
And I winded up meeting a couple of friends, and we started just doing a whole modeling circuit together. Whoever one of them got into, they would get all of us in, and we were all just modeled together. We got really familiar with each other and was comfortable being around each other and kind of support each other in all the modeling shows that we did. So
So you
I just
started your own little community, your own little network, which is
right.
really common when you're in the industry, right? Because even myself, I know
Mhm.
that when I'm going to well, this was of the days of in-person castings, because now we do more
Yeah.
virtual now, which I love because you can get more done.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can get more out there at once. But in
right,
the days of in-person casting, it was like you would see the same group of people. It was somebody that might be similar to you, or your build, your frame, whatever, and you guys do
right,
kind of build a camaraderie with one another, a
right.
friendship. So that's good to hear. Now, do you
Mhm.
still keep in contact with any of these individuals now?
Oh yeah, we follow each other on social media. Some act now as well, and of course I act and own my own film company, and do a whole plethora of things. So yeah, we all, I've kind of grown with a lot of them.
Okay, so how long have you been would you say, within the industry?
More than 15 years.
Okay, yeah, so extensive
Yeah.
resume.
Right, right. Yeah. If you go on Amazon Prime now and put my name in, you'll see a whole list of movies. so,
Okay. Okay,
so yeah.
Mr. Prime Time. I know that's right. Go on and put it out
Yeah.
there. So you said actor, as well as you have your own production company. So are you always putting yourself in the roles within this company, or like how does that work for you?
Well, absolutely. Number one, because
All
number one,
right.
I'm an actor. Like what, one of the things that even Tyler Perry said is create your own path.
Okay.
And so I advise anybody, if there's something you want to do and you're not getting the opportunity to do it, find a way to do it yourself. Create your own path.
Exactly.
I just happen to be blessed enough to meet a group of people who trust me, who believe in me, and they wanted to join forces with me. So I
Okay.
didn't have to necessarily go and look for a team. My team came to me basically, and we've been rocking ever since. So, um, like I said, the name of my company is Raine Dance Film, named after my daughter Raine,
Oh wow.
and she's a very she's a little character herself. I
Okay.
love her to death. I hadn't got her in acting yet because she's too afraid, but
That was gonna be one
eventually,
of my next questions. Is she in
yeah,
the entertainment? Okay.
eventually I'm gonna get her there. Because I asked her, would she want to do it? She said, I don't know. I said, okay, well I'm gonna let her make her own decision on when she's ready, because I don't
Right.
want to push, any of my kids to do anything.
Right.
So when but with my film company, I'm an actor, producer, director. I write. I have a few TV series projects that I will be doing. I have several feature films, and I also have other companies who have written films that hire me to shoot all their stuff too. So
Okay.
it's just a matter. I love this. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I do have a full-time job as well, but
Oh, wow.
I'm
Listen,
I'm
how
a,
do you manage it all? I mean, you just said actor, model, father, basically producer, director, writer, and you have a job. Like, how do you manage all of these things together? Like, wow.
and that's funny because I get that question a lot.
Okay.
Well, the first thing is, number one thing to me is family.
Right.
So I always make sure, because my daughter stays with me, so I always make sure my daughter is straight, and she'll let me know. She's 7, and she'll say to me, "Daddy, you working too much," and I
Yeah.
just say, "Okay, this weekend is your weekend," so I would take that time and we go out and do anything she want to do for the weekend. You
Okay.
know,
Which is
and
important because you have to have that balance. She has to know
exactly
that daddy's always, there for her no matter what, even though
right.
daddy's busy, because it sounds like daddy is very busy.
Yeah. And
um,
plus I take her with me too. This weekend was my birthday weekend, this past weekend.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And so we had a huge dinner, and of course I had to make it where kids can come, because my daughter was not gonna miss out on my birthday dinner.
Right.
She just wasn't. So I always try to bring her with me a lot of times,
Okay.
but sometimes I can't, and that's when you have to have a good support system. Thank God for my mother, and some other relatives that I have that are more than willing to get her when I need to. Also, her mother, she's still in her life, and get her from time to time as well. So we have a great co-parenting relationship.
Well, that's very important too, especially,
Yeah.
with all the things that you have going on and this little girl, because 7, that is a very like impressionable
Oh
age.
yeah.
I enjoy the fact that, or I'm happy to hear the fact that you and her mom are able to have that, that balance to be able to co-parent together. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I advise that to anybody. You have kids.
Right.
Do if you had a bad breakup, okay, fine, but don't punish the kids because of your bad breakup,
Right.
or however your feelings are toward the other person. Become a team, get together, and figure it out. And that's just what it is.
Right.
You have to look past yourself and see what's most important, and that's the child.
Exactly. Well, I definitely applaud you both on that. And I know that your daughter is very proud of you. I know you said that you take her on the various, projects
Yeah.
or different things that she's doing, which I think is also important because it lets her see you in your element, and then it gives
Yeah.
her, that decision to make if that is something that she does want to in fact encounter, or, go into that field later on. So I
Yep.
applaud that. Yes.
Yep, she does. She looks at a lot. Some stuff she can't look at, but she looks at some stuff.
Okay. Okay. Well, what projects is it that you're working on now? I know you said that you have your own production company. And
Hmm.
so what is one of the projects, or what are some of the projects that you're currently, working on at this time?
Well, right now I'm getting ready to do a movie.
Okay.
A lot of this stuff I can't give the names,
Okay.
but I can talk a little bit about it because I'm under contract.
Got it.
I'm getting ready to do a movie in May, which with this production company, with the Bass Brothers Production.
Okay.
I've been wanting to work with them for years, and now we're getting ready to do. I'm one of the lead actors in it, along with two other guys,
Okay.
and we're going to be doing the start filming in May, and I can't wait. We're all like got together. We're doing this workout routine, so our bodies can look a certain kind of way for the movie.
Okay.
So
Are you
we
guys doing like a lot of like fighting scenes, or a lot of choreographed scenes? Like, give us
that's not that kind of movie. It's a movie where it's kind of like a love story type of movie thing, but at the end of the day, hey, you remember? Let me see, what's the movie? I'm trying to think of the name of it, but
okay. Okay.
it's the movie The Brothers. You remember the movie
Oh,
called The
brothers,
Brothers?
yeah, uh-huh, yeah,
Okay,
Tyrese and
yeah,
yeah,
no, no. So it's kind of on that level type of thing,
okay,
and
cool.
so we all trying to look a certain kind of way because just for appearance sakes and stuff, and the women too. So
Okay.
it's going to be one of those movies that people look at and be like, oh wow, okay, you know,
Right. I mean, everybody wants to look good on
right, right,
camera.
right,
And not only that, you want to look good in your everyday life, because it
correct,
it translates as well. So
right.
speaking of that, so can you kind of tell me a little bit, I guess, with you and your guys trying to look good for these roles and look good for the project, what went into that? What type of workouts are you doing? What type of Are you on any type of special diets? What is it that
Oh
you're
yeah. So I work out anyway,
okay?
but what we're trying to do is we doing like a competition kind of
Okay.
thing. So that's like motivation because we all work out, but
Mm-hmm.
now we really working out because there's money on the line.
Right.
so so whoever looks the best, and we're gonna let social media vote on
Oh,
who body
okay. So
looks
like an
the best.
interactive type thing.
Right,
Okay, okay.
right. And then whoever wins, then they get the money that we put in the pot. So that's just something fun that we just doing for motivation, you know.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
some friendly taunts going between you guys who can show
right,
off the most, who can stress the
right,
best. Yeah, I get that. Yes, it's
yeah,
always good to have that friendly competition.
right, right. And I'm excited about it. I've had a lot going recently. One of my closest supporters and my grandmother, who is also my friend, passed away recently
Oh, I'm
at
sorry to
the
hear
age
that.
of 98, and so that kind of took me out for a while,
Yeah.
um, because I saw her every day. There wasn't a day that went by I didn't see her, and she was just the most loving,
Oh.
the greatest woman I've ever known. She was a huge supporter of everything that I do, and I miss her dearly. So
Oh, yes, that's beautiful.
yeah,
I can relate to that because I'm the same with my grandmother. It's not a day that goes by that I don't check on her, call her, or she's calling me saying, "Can you have those Uber? Ooh, not Uber. She calls them Uber. Can you have those Uber people to send me some food?" I'm like, "That's not the name, but okay, you got it. What you want?" And she loves her shrimp fried rice. So she loves Chinese food all the time. So I already knows what she wants, but I still ask just to make sure. And then she's one of those grandmothers that's like, it's like she thinks I'm her secretary, I'm her
yeah.
lawyer, I'm her, just all these things. But I love it. That's my baby. I get to be,
See, that's
return
that's
the
the
favor.
difference. That's the difference between your grandmother. My grandmother just don't want no help at all. She wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
So she was still the one 90 some years old in the kitchen cooking dinner,
Yeah.
washing dishes. Like she just getting around doing all kind of stuff. And I've only known her to be sick one time her whole life, and when she finally
Wow.
passed, it was from natural cause.
Okay. So
So
she lived
I
a long, happy,
alone.
blessed life. Because a lot of
Yes,
people don't get to those ages nowadays. And
that's true.
I was gonna say, my grandmother is in that way as far as me handling, I guess I'll say her business affairs. But as far
Right.
as her independence, oh no, it sounds like your grandmother and my grandmother are pretty much the same in that aspect. I can
Yeah.
kind of hold her hand while we're walking down the street or going down a curb, and she like, "Girl, I'm not that old." I'm like, "Lady, you 89. Like, chill. Let me help you." And one thing that I love about my grandmother is that I'm the one that gets to plan her birthdays every year. So
Right.
her 90th is approaching in May. So we're gonna do this, big party for her this year. So I just love being able to spoil her and give her things or,
Yeah.
just be there for her because she's always been there for us. And she has a lot of grandchildren and great grandchildren.
Yep. My grandmother too. My grandmother too.
Yes, yes. But I'm glad you were able to at least have that, connection because some people don't even get that, whether it's with their parents, their grandparents. So you were blessed to have that experience. And it seems like you guys, shared a lot of love and funness for one
Oh
another.
yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. She was she went to Bible college, and you could sit there and talk to her, and she will just speak knowledge, and
Exactly.
her memory was so key. She could still remember kids that she went to school with
Oh
when she
wow.
was in elementary school, you
Wow. That's
know.
great.
So
Yes.
yeah, she was smart as a whip.
Yes. Well, hopefully we're as lucky, right? Because that is
Right.
definitely a blessing. Yes. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, your family dynamic since we're kind of going into that. I understand, you have your daughter who's 7. You are very tight knit with your grandmother. Do you have
Yeah.
brothers and sisters? Are they in the industry? Like, how does that work for you?
I don't know. My sister, she does her thing. I just had one sister and my mother. My father was never really around, which is why I try to be so close to my kids because I know how that feels. So I wanted to change that dynamic,
Exactly.
break that curse because that was something my father's father did and he did. And he wasn't around his kids. His father wasn't around him and his kids. I said, no, I'm not. We end this today.
Right. The
And
cycle
so,
repeats itself. So you want it to
right.
be one of those that, stops that and breaks that, which it sounds like you're doing. So again, applause to you.
Thank you.
um,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome, of course. Now tell me a little bit because you said that, you also work. Now in your daily job, is that also in entertainment or within the industry?
No, that's a full-time job.
Okay.
Just, working, making money. And I try to, a lot of people ask me how I do because I do work a lot. When I work,
Okay.
sometimes I work long hours.
Mhm.
And I've worked for the company for 25 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've accrued a whole lot of vacation time. And I
Yeah.
use that vacation time to film. You
Right.
know, I
Right.
get I get about 2 months of vacation a year, and
Okay.
so I kind of just spread it out. You know, I take a real vacation every once a year, and little ones in between that.
Yes.
But when I film, I use my vacation time, and I try to tell, I let them know I can do this, this, and this. They be like, all right, so we're gonna fit you in on these days. I'm like,
Well, and
great,
that's good that you're able to have like, that flexibility because I think
right,
a lot of entertainers or a lot of people that are in the industry who do still have, full-time jobs or part-time jobs, whatever, that is always probably like a top issue, being able to juggle,
right,
the auditions and going to these castings or being able to get these different roles and still have to worry about, this job on your back.
right,
Like, hey, you
yeah,
still have to be here and punch this clock and do what you have to do. So it sounds like you have that flexibility, which gives you
yeah.
a
Well,
sense
right
of
now
freedom.
I'm actually looking to retire soon,
Okay.
because like I say, the film circuit is just starting to take over, and I literally can work constantly for right now the next 3 to 4 years, just doing movies and doing my
Okay.
radio show. So,
So you already have that
uh,
schedule just kind of like planned out and laid out there.
right,
Okay.
correct. I think the hardest part for most film production companies is funding.
Right.
And, I just went to school. I went to grant writing school, learned how to be a grant writer. So now I also have a nonprofit, and I'm now able to apply for grants to be able to shoot my movies and everything. So
Oh wow.
I I tell people, do what you can to make this thing work to get that funding, because it's hard to find investors who believe in your dream and your passion, especially people of color.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true.
Ready to turn your passion into a career? At 24/7 LC Film Academy, we offer acting, screenwriting, and filmmaking classes with multiple options including Zoom and in-person classes in Los Angeles. Apply now and join our community.
So your projects, are they geared towards a certain demographic, or would you say you have, eclectic taste when you're piecing together these different projects?
Mine's is a mixed blend. I don't think real life involves just black people.
Right.
I've never been around just black people my whole life. I don't know about anybody else, but I've always been around a mixed demographic of people. Wherever I live, wherever I went to school, it's always been mixed. So I I do I do black films, but I
Right.
also integrate white people in my films because it's just not natural to just have all black people. I
Right.
I don't I like my stuff to be as close to reality as true as possible.
Okay, yes, exactly.
Mhm.
So are there any I guess projects that you can, because I know earlier you kind of mentioned that, you can't really say names.
Oh
Are
yeah.
there any projects that you can say names of, or maybe, that you could tell the viewers about that they're able to check out on any of the platforms or any of the networks?
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely go on Amazon Prime, Tubi. On Amazon Prime, I did a domestic violence film not too long ago.
Okay.
Called The Object of My Infection. I've just been told, called and said they want to do part two of that.
Okay.
But that movie, please, I tell this, I put out a disclaimer.
Okay.
I am not the person in that movie.
Okay.
That is just a role.
Right.
And I have to say that because, man, I get people send me like, "Oh, I hate you. I just hate you," and I'm like, "Well, you're supposed to if you watch that movie."
Right. So you get to
But
play the mean guy in the film, but
oh
in
yeah,
real life, we know that you're a good guy. Yes.
right, yeah. And I even get that question when we premiered it.
Hmm.
The cast comes up to the front and sit down, and we get questions from the audience. And when I watched this movie myself, I was like this. I was like, "Oh God."
Watching yourself back, you even had to hide your face. Like,
Right.
is that really me?
Right. And the woman behind me saw me do it. So when I got up to the front and people was asking us questions, she was the first one. She said, "I saw you hiding your face through the movie." She said, "How was it that you were able to do this movie and now can't even watch yourself doing the movie?"
Right. Right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I told her, I said, "Well, to me, it's a role,
Exactly.
and if you're gonna do the role, you need to own the role.
There you go.
You know, don't go in it half stepping. And I think when I first got into this industry, it was hard for me to play a bad guy because I kept thinking about what other people would think of me.
Okay.
But when I got out of that and got that out of my system and realized this role is just a role, I was able to own it. Now, the only things I won't do in film, I can't play a gay role.
Okay.
Uh, Nothing against gay people.
Right.
I personally just can't do a gay role,
Okay.
and I can't do a role molesting young children.
Mm.
Those two things is just where I draw the line. I can't do that.
And I kind of get it, right? Because, like you said, people see you in these different or various roles, which to you it's a role, but then
Right,
to them they still see this demonic or this character, and they
right,
translate that to being a part of your day-to-day or real life. So I definitely understand what you're saying as far as that, because
yeah,
it's the same as far as like being typecast, right, in Hollywood or
mhm,
in the industry.
right,
Once you start getting certain type of roles, then it's like that's all people want to see you as, opposed to you being able to stretch your instrument, and go into these various or different roles. You might want to be the mean guy today, but next time you
right.
do want to play the good guy, or the loving father or husband, or whatever
Right.
it may be. So I definitely understand that. Yes.
Yeah. And you have to know your brand and your legacy.
Right.
What you want to leave on this earth,
Hmm.
once you're gone, how you want people to look at you when you look at movies. Things have to make sense to me.
Right.
If I play a domestic violence film, somebody's got to play the bad guy.
Okay.
You know, I don't mind doing that because it's to show people and educate people on what to do and how to recognize an abusive person. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? So when in that instance, I don't mind doing, things like that, but I'm not going to always do things like that because I don't want to be typecast as this just abuser in all the movies
Right.
you know. So I always look for roles that are totally opposite of that. I've done action roles. I've done, the good guy role, the good father role. In fact, in the movie I'm getting ready to come out, dude, I'll tell you just a little bit. I play a character where the wife, me and my wife have some issues, but she's the bad person. I'm the good
Oh,
guy.
okay. Okay. Okay.
So, and see, a lot of people, you know, men aren't always the bad,
Right.
the bad people.
Right. Right. That's true.
Some
And
women out
that's
here
for
that's
real
off
life
the
as
chain.
well, because they
Yeah,
they say life imitates art. Um,
yeah,
so I'm sorry, art imitates life. So it's just like the same thing. It's vice versa. Women aren't always the good ones. Men aren't always the
right,
bad ones. It could be switched up, and sometimes it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I
yep,
definitely understand when you try to differentiate between the two, or the right, the wrong, the good, the bad,
right,
the ugly. So we
right.
definitely understand that. Yes, yes. Well, let me ask you this, because again, you've kind of gone over your family, your career, you're a working man, you're a family man. Um, Within this industry, what would you say have been your, I guess, toughest struggles? Like, being able to be an artist.
One, like I said earlier, is funding. It's hard to get funding for films. It's hard to get certain people to believe in your passion and believe in what you're trying to put out.
Okay.
They can see it. It's almost like before Black Panther came out,
Mm,
it was hard for dark skinned people to get roles. It was just hard.
okay.
And they would get some, but it wasn't many.
Okay.
When Black Panther came out, that opened the door for a lot more people of color to get roles.
Okay.
A lot more women and a lot more men, but it's like the the industry is full of, you got white people, you got the Jews, they own a lot of the businesses and stuff in the entertainment industry and stuff and things like that. So you have to show them,
Right.
like, look, this is a money. We're money too. We can make money. We can make
Right.
you get money.
Exactly.
you
Right.
know.
And you know what? Like you said, I think that Black Panther was a good example of that. And as
Hmm.
of recent, another good example of that was the Color Purple and the
Yes.
numbers that it has done and how widely received it has been received throughout. So I hear what you're saying as far as, the difficulties and then, your
Hmm.
struggles within the industry. And everybody has their own plights or their own stories, right? We all have
Hmm.
our opinions when it comes to the industry or things
Right.
that could be done differently or how things could be better. What do you think your contributions are right now within entertainment?
I think one is that, through my film company, I open doors for a lot more people of color to
Okay.
get opportunities. I think that's big because we don't really have an outlet to reach that level. You
Okay.
know, I'm actually in the process of doing my first multi-million-dollar film project.
Okay.
And so that in itself, and it's something that's never been seen about a person who's who has a abnormality that has never been shown on TV ever.
Oh wow.
So her story is just amazing, and I have the opportunity of doing her movie, so I can't wait to do it. I can't. That's as much as I can tell you at this point,
Okay.
because I even got her under contract. She can't really talk details about it, but she's one of the biggest motivational speakers in the world,
Okay.
and her story is just amazing in itself. Her name is Tawana Williams. So if you want to go and look at who the movie is going to be about, you can. You'll get an idea of what the movie's going to be about if you
Okay.
go look her up.
Tawana Williams.
Tawana Williams. Yep, she was born.
Tawana was my mother's middle name. Tawana.
Really?
Yeah, Tawana. And her
Yeah.
last name is actually Williams. So that's I'm like Tawana Williams. Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Well, she
yeah.
was born. She was born without arms, because her mother was given a drug back in the day that was supposed to help the pregnancy, but was supposed to kill
Oh
her,
wow.
and she did not. So she still lived with her abnormalities, and she does everything with her feet. She signs, she writes, she draws, she does everything with her feet.
Wow,
So
that sounds pretty powerful. I mean, if
yeah,
that's inspirational in itself. So there's no reason
it
for
is.
someone who doesn't have these deficiencies to give up. If you can look at someone like Tawana and get that inspiration because to have all of those difficulties and still not let that hold you down or hold you back,
Hmm.
that's power in itself right there.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Wow. Yes. Well,
So
look,
I'm
have me on speed dial for. I know you might have something. I'll come be a secretary or whatever it is I play at the doctor office. Go ahead and get me in there. Now, where are you based? Tell the viewers where we can find you.
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay, ATL.
I
Yeah.
am. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I love it here. It seems like everybody's moving here. And because every
They
time you
say
turn around,
the Black Hollywood.
yeah, every time you turn around in Atlanta, I don't care when, you can drive anywhere. They got streets blocked off, people are filming. You can tell there's a movie going because you see trailers parked for days, and they got everything sectioned off. So yeah, Atlanta is where it's at for film right now.
Hot Atlanta. Hot Atlanta.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
how long have
I
you
love
been in Atlanta? Or are you born and raised in Atlanta?
born and raised. They
Okay.
they they say I'm one of the few.
That's how it works, right? Because that's just like myself. I'm originally from Florida. And so when I'm in Florida, it's like you don't find a lot of Floridians. You get people that
Mhm.
have kind of like, merged down here or, what do they call them? The snowbirds. And, they bring their
Right.
families or, different things like that. So I hear you. Yes. Nothing like being in your home city and being able to say like, this is where I've been and this is where I've been able to create my career and kind of manifest everything that you have going on. So that's good. Now, with you being in Atlanta and it being, Black Hollywood, do you feel that it's very competitive from a production standpoint with you having, your production company?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's enough for everybody. I feel.
Okay.
I be because here it's a lot of people when they get cast, they auditioning, they constantly auditioning. You can literally make a living here in Atlanta just auditioning, doing commercials or doing movies and films. There are many production companies, there are many studios that are going up out here. And I'm even in the process of building a studio. So there is a lot of room for to do whatever you want to do here, and there are a lot of actors moving here from LA, that are moving here to Atlanta to make a living because from what I understand in LA, you're like going up against a whole slew of well-known people who've been on TV constantly all the time. And
Okay.
here in Atlanta, you're going against a lot of new people. So you're more prone to show your talent and they look at it more so than you just being popular. Now, with that being said, a lot of people get roles just because of their popularity.
Okay.
You know, if a person has 1 million views on Instagram and this other person walk in and they got maybe 10,000 views, they
Mm.
could be the bomb actress or actor, but that person with that 1 million views is probably going to get cast before the one with the 10,000 uh, followers, primarily because they look at everything from a different standpoint. If you got 1 million followers, then at least 200,000 of them will probably look at the movie because they truly follow you in everything that you're doing and they want to see you in something.
Well, and that's
You
what I was
know,
going to ask you from a production standpoint. Is that something you yourself consider?
I consider that as well. I actually just hired someone to manage my Instagram and stuff because when you're busy and you're trying to juggle businesses and do all kind of different things, you just don't have time to focus on Instagram and
Right.
put stuff on social media. It's just almost impossible
Mm-hmm.
because the way the algorithms go, you have to constantly be putting stuff on there every single day at a certain time in order for people to catch on.
Right.
you
Okay.
know and if you don't do that and you throw them off, you can lose your followers. You can
Right.
lose people who, they were like, wait, what happened to them? Did they disappear? Did they get locked up? What happened? And so you wind up losing followers, so you have to be consistent, and that's hard for a lot of people. You have to literally be doing that solely by yourself, and that's all you do.
Consistency is key. So
Yeah.
that's something you learn in anything you do, business, entertainment, whatever you do, consistency is key. And
Right.
whatever you can do to keep yourself in that forefront, you do. So I definitely understand that. That's just like I was watching a message that was on Instagram, and
Hmm.
she was saying, and I listen to her all the time, Miss Skittles. And she was saying, you have to just get back in the game, whatever it is, hire that social media manager, get out there and get your hands dirty and do what you need to do for what it is you're trying to accomplish. Like whatever it is, you can't stop doing it. You just have to get yourself back in there, get that pep talk, get that break, take that water break, that Gatorade, whatever it is, and jump back in there, because that's the only way you're
Yeah.
going to get it, is consistently going after your wants and your dreams and the things that
Yeah.
you love, and nobody is going to be able to get you there but you, which is
Right.
very true. um,
Right.
People can cultivate and help you and surround you. You want to be around people that want the same things that you want, but at the same time it's up to you to get you where you need to be. So I definitely
Exactly.
understand that. Listen,
Right.
it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I do want to go ahead and bring it to a close. But before we do that, with this being Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast, can you kind of tell us one of your best kept secrets? I mean, it won't, nothing too major, but just something for the people.
Best kept secrets. Oh wow. Best kept secrets. Best kept secrets. Wow, that is a good one. You just threw me through a bone right there. I think. Let's see. One of my best kept secrets. Um, I, you know, I think one of my best kept secrets is the fact that I'm a writer,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
So I wrote my first TV series, and when I wrote it, no one believed that I actually wrote it because they were like, "There's no way! Like this, the first thing you ever wrote?" I said, "Yeah, this is the first thing I ever wrote in my life." And ever since then, I've had people try to come to me and say, "Hey, can you help write this?" I said, "I don't have time to write stuff for anybody else. I can only focus on my stuff. I'm not
Right.
that.
Right.
I'm still trying to own in on it. You
Right. I
know."
definitely understand that. Okay.
But I
Well,
think
Mr.
that's
Writer.
that's the only best secret I think I have right now. I'm so open. It's hard to find a secret, you know. But I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, listen, like I said, we have learned so much about you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. If you want to go ahead and also let the viewers know where they can find you on your social media platforms.
Oh yeah, you can definitely find. All you have to do is put in my name, Wardell, Wardell Richardson, and on Instagram it's official Wardell Richardson. For some reason, they shut down my Facebook page. I
Oh,
don't know why. I've been working on it, trying to figure out
okay.
what happened, but I still have my fan page. If you put my name in, I have my fan page and I have my Rain Dance film page.
Okay.
So if you go look at those, you'll be able to find those. But other than that, I do not have everything else I had on Facebook. They just shut it down. I don't know what happened.
Oh man. Well, listen, you'll get it back with everything that you have going on and the tenacity that you have and the work ethic that you have. You'll get it back and put it back up in no time, I'm sure. And just get
Yeah,
even more people to follow and support. I know that I'll definitely be watching you from now on, making sure that we stay connected. And that's what I love about doing the podcast and doing these different conversations. I don't like to say
right,
interviews, I like to say conversations. It gives you a
right.
chance to really meet people, interact, vibe, and as well as just collaborate. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, you do want to make sure you build your network and you build your connection. So hopefully we'll be
right.
able to do that from this point moving forward.
For sure, for sure. What state are you in?
Yes.
What state are you in?
So me myself, I am originally from Florida, but I am from Florida to LA back and forth. So
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yes, yes, yes. So
All
Georgia
right.
ain't nothing but a hop and a skip. I have family there, so it's nothing but a thing. What they say ain't nothing but a thing. Chicken wing.
All right.
Yes, yes. Well, it was a pleasure again. I know you probably got to get to your beautiful daughter. I'm glad we were
I
able to
do.
get
I
this
do.
conversation in your busy schedule. And I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching Synoria's Best Kept Secret podcast. Make sure to check out Wardell on all his social media platforms and make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. See you guys next time. Bye.